I'm trying to capture in my amendment something that would, satisfy people that this is the stuff we want the consultants to take a look at in their second go around with the city manager. And I heard you, I think Part C does not, I know this is not a question period for you, but I'm just trying to move this along here. Part C doesn't address what you said, Toronto boundaries for increased consistency.
It does. I simply think that I would think that it was important to review the terms of reference to make sure everything's captured in here, so we're not.
And then down below it talked about historical significance of communities of interest, which I think covers the kind of Etobicoke, Scarborough, Victoria Park, Humber River.
East York.
Point.
York.
East York. I mean, that's what it's meant to do without having 6 paragraphs of extra.
Okay, then I hear you. I accept that. Thank you.
Thank you. What I will do is, with your concurrence, are there any other members not on the committee that want to speak? Because I'll just put this motion on the floor again. I don't mean to speak first except to do that. And what it was meant to do, and I'll just start the clock here so I have the same restraints on myself. It was meant to have the consultants go back, and my understanding is, members of the committee, that it has to be the consultants that do it as opposed to our own management, because we then maintain the purity of the process from the standpoint of those who may look at it later or who will, I'm sure, look at it. And it's meant to take a look at some further work to be done on option 1 with taking a look at some of the wards that have the highest population discrepancies. Then it also is meant to sort of do some of the same extra, I'll call it due diligence work on option 2, which is a 44 ward option based on input received to date. It's meant to take a look at this question that Councillor Fletcher was just mentioning of the intended changes of already the federal boundaries and perhaps the provincial boundaries, and then to have additional consultation. And I would accept a friendly amendment to change the date to October 26th, 2016, to address the point that Councillor Fragadakis made about some additional time for a consultation. And then at the very bottom, it indicates that we should, the consultant should be asked, in looking at all of this, to consider the committee's preference for maintaining the community council boundaries given their historical significance, reflecting communities of interest. So I think that addresses the last couple of the last points Councillor Fletcher made. I think because it's been reported in the press, because I get asked about everything all the time. I am not in favor of adding any more politicians here. So when you talk about the stew, I guess the only thing I won't say that I wouldn't add more fat, because that would be very provocative. I won't even say I wouldn't add more beef. But I just wouldn't add more politicians, because I have yet to meet my first person, except perhaps in this building, that wants to add any politicians around to any level of government anywhere. But having said all that, I think there are ways we can address representation, through staffing and so on, and do some alteration to those wards that have the greatest population discrepancy, but without adding politicians. So I think we can do that. And I have nothing against politicians. I am one, but I just think. No, I'm a politician too, but I just think we have enough of them to do the job effectively here with the right staff support and so on. So that's the purpose behind this motion, which was meant to sort of send them off to do some further work, because I think no matter which side of this, as it were, that you're on, I don't think anybody feels the work is done, and that they can do some more work, as apparently they have to do in consultation with the city manager, and come back to us, now it would be in October, with a revised report. So I will stop there and put that motion on the table, as I've done.